Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. We have another special guest with us today. We have Mr. Matt Lemay. Is that how you say his surname?
That is, yeah, that's right.
It is, Matt Lemay. Men's Physique Matt Lemay, as I called him on my Instagram story. That sounds quite good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Men's Physique Matt
I'll
Lemay.
take it,
Yeah,
It works nicely.
Yeah.
So, Matt is competing in, 2 days nearly now?
Yeah, Saturday and
Yeah.
it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday night, and we've got him in. He's peaking in, isn't he?
Sure, I've had carbs.
He's having a high day today, so we'll chat about your food and everything.
Yeah.
Give us an introduction to you, because I know you just as a men's physique guy that I've seen a couple of times. I think Reece knows you a little bit better.
Yeah.
But give us a background on you and sort of your competitive history and stuff.
So I started, going back to when I started training, I suppose. I started training at uni, and it was just because my first year, I just drank and ate pizza and got pretty fat, and then was like, right, I need to lose weight. So I went to the gym and was just doing cardio, as you do. And then I started to pick up weights a little bit. And then I got some help from a PT at the gym, which I didn't know at the time, was Mark Hector.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So he's helped me out a lot. He's
the
reason.
Which gym was this?
It's just a Montfort Leisure Centre, called Queen Elizabeth Leisure Centre at De Montfort University.
Right.
Okay.
Cool,
so he helped me out with a lot of training. Basically, he got
I
me
didn't know
he
that
got
he
me
knew
into
Mark.
that
That's
sort
really
of thing.
cool.
Obviously, I just knew this jacked guy at the gym was taking time out to help me, and then I found out he was Mark Hector.
He's a nice guy. Isn't he?
He's such a nice guy, and still to this day he has so much time for me.
Yeah.
Like if I'm up in Leicester, I think he was 2 weeks out from the Arnold that he did in the UK, and literally I was like, I'm in Leicester, just swinging by. And he was like, should we go for a coffee? And I was like, are you sure? Like, are you good? And then from there I fell in love with it. The process, just like training, progression, and then I sort of, the same as quite a lot of people, was like, right, I want to do something with this. Like I don't want to just no.
Yeah.
Eventually, yes. But it was kind of one of those ones where I was like, right, I want to harness this passion I've got and implement it in some way that isn't just, oh cool, I've got an extra rep today. Yeah. It's like I want to focus on something. So I did my first show. Mark prepped me for my first proper show, which was PCA East Anglia.
Okay. When was this?
2019.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Not even that long ago.
Yeah.
No, so I did like a jokey. It was Mr. University, which was like a university stepping on stage show. But I did Jay Cutler's cod and broccoli for 8 weeks straight. So
Really?
Fantastic coaching for Mark.
No, that wasn't Mark. That was all me. That was all me going through a magazine going, I must be Jay Cutler. I'll just do his diet. So I literally did cod and broccoli for 8 weeks straight. Absolutely buried myself. Yeah, I was absolutely peeled.
Yeah.
I had zero muscle.
Yeah.
Like before I even started training it, like when I finished that prep. And then so my first actual show, Mark prepped me for, which I won, and then went into the overall. But that was when PCA were doing overalls with the bodybuilders, the men's physique.
Yeah, my one was the first year where there was a men's physique overall.
It's good how they do it now.
They announced it 4 months before when I was doing the show, because beforehand it was like you have to be the best in the entire show.
Yeah, and I'm stood next to this 6 foot wide as a house bodybuilder, and I'm just like,
nice show.
Yeah,
Stood against what's his name? Tom Hemmings or
there was that Magic High Media, wasn't
Magic High Media. Oh yeah, but he beat
that
Tom Hemmings guy. Yeah, that was good though.
Yeah. So
and then just from there, just kind of, I did a two-bro show that year, and I think there was 6 guys in my class, and there was a top 5 call out, and I was stood at the back of the stage, and I was just like,
I've won.
No, I was just like, this is the worst feeling I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm the kid that's left out.
Did you think you could have won?
Is that when you jumped on gear?
Yeah, you were like,
I was like, right, what a cycle. And then obviously just took some time out and put on some muscle.
Yeah.
And then in lockdown, got with Rob from LRF because I just was like, what am I doing here? Like I've lost my head.
Yeah.
And then 2021, prepped from there. And then just did show since.
Why did you stop with Mark? Like, was it just because you weren't at that uni dream anymore and stuff? Or?
Well, we did that two-row show, and I remember being backstage, and they brought me a British Finals invite. I was like, oh my God, we're going to the British Finals. And then we had a phone call the next day. He was like, I don't think it's worth going to the British Finals. You've just come last. He was like, I wouldn't want to go to the British Finals without a win under your belt, which I really appreciated, because a lot of coaches have been like,
just string you
a couple of months more money. Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
Whereas Mike was like, there's just no point, mate. And I was like, I respect that.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of that year, I was just like, right, I'm going to take some time off, just do my own thing, like, just chill. And and then from there, we stayed friends. Obviously, we're still really close. I chat to him a lot, but I just didn't. There wasn't any like falling out or anything. Obviously, we're still really good mates, but just wanted to do my own thing and learn my own, learn how to do things myself.
Yeah, and then into what, like lockdown? You on your own? And then you said you went to Rob.
Yes, yeah. So I did I was doing the classic training in a garden.
Yeah.
Then my mate had like a garage, and I was training in there, and then I was just like, right, I just feel a little bit lost. So I spoke to Rob, joined him, and then competed in 2021.
How did that go? What shows did you do there?
So I
think that's the first time I remember. I think we followed each other, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 2021.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember when. Was it mid to the back end of the year, or that you did?
I did.
Was it?
I think I did like the mid, and I did the outdoor two bro show. It was like a festival.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I turned up to this outside venue, and I was like, there's some like fitness festival, and we were on some stage at the back of the thing, which fair play to Two Bros for still putting on shows when everyone else had gone, no, we're not doing anything. They actually were like, right, we're gonna do everything we can to give you a place to present your physique. So fair play to them.
In the back of JT's shed. I was in his garden being like, we've got a shed that you can just step on stage.
Which it was a very different experience.
Yeah. Was it hard to get a pump?
Yeah, freezing cold.
What time of the year was it?
I think it was like May-ish, but it was still super hot.
When you peeled, fuck that.
It was windy in the field.
Yeah.
But we still got to, because a lot of us were on prep, because it was kind of in and out of lockdown. It was like, what's happening?
That's the same. I competed
they gave us
2020 and it was like that.
They gave us a venue to step on stage still, which we appreciated. And there was Jeffrey Darko. I don't know if you know Jeffrey Darko, big black Iron Man.
Yeah.
He took the overall, obviously.
Yeah.
And from then, it was just a case of like, right, I know where I stand. I was in the overall. Yeah. And kind of ever since that, I've been in overalls. Yeah. But I just never got the nod for the card yet.
Not yet. Maybe
this weekend.
Yeah. You never know.
So 2021, was that your last show of the year, or did you do any more?
No, I did. I sort of dipped my toe in the waters at international shows.
Was that your first time going international?
Yes.
How did you find that? Was it like a bit scary going overseas?
Yes and no. Like, because I've been at uni, I've kind of done the whole independent thing.
Yeah. Being a loner, sat in your room.
Yeah.
Playing like PlayStation.
Playing World of Warcraft 14 hours straight.
Yeah.
So I just kind of went for the experience, which I know sounds like, why are you doing a bodybuilding pro for an experience? But I was like,
I think it's
life's about
like
memories
cool
and experiences, right?
And compete. Like, I've always said that. I'd like to do that.
Yeah. It is, and I did it obviously the last couple of years, and it is fun.
Yeah.
Even if you are by yourself, because it's like you don't get to tour much, but there's other athletes there, and often there's other athletes from the UK.
Yeah.
And you go for food afterwards, and obviously at the show you meet other international people and you keep in touch, and then it's just you see them at other international shows, and it is like a little mini community. So it was an amazing experience. It's just one of those things where I then look back and go, I wasn't ready to do international pro qualifiers.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like I won in where did I win? Norway. I won my class in Norway, and then got beaten the overall by Mitch Starr.
Yeah.
Incredible. Peeled. Absolutely peeled. That's when he won his pro card, obviously. And I was like, I need to be better. Yeah. So then took off season, went again. I think this is the first year, potentially last year, but this is the first real year I'm like, I can do this.
I think I'm at the level now.
Yeah. Well, like I did shows last year, and again, I won my class.
Yeah, that seemed to be the trend. It was like win the class, miss out on the overall, win the class. Like, and realistically, if you look at the standard, I feel like if you had just carried on spending thousands, you probably would have eventually bullshitted one. But would that have then set you back where you have to take a few years out?
There was,
I don't think you're miles off.
No.
But if you were to get it, you wouldn't be a shit pro.
That's the thing, and there is shows like in certain areas of Europe where you turn up and you're like, you almost go there because it's like easy to win.
Yeah.
But I've always picked shows like I did France last year, which I knew was a big show.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to I don't want to compete, go into the pro league and just be at the bottom of the packet.
Yeah.
Granted, I will be because I am a new pro.
Yeah.
When
you didn't want to be like so low.
It's the point of like, I need 2 years off.
Yeah.
I want to be like,
years and years.
If there is a pro show after I win, like the same weekend, I want to stand in there and be like, well, I'm not dead last.
Yeah.
But so obviously got into overalls last year, and I got compared with the winners every time. I had Jack Sullivan, Olympia judge, tell me that I won the whole show from the front. Yeah. Well, just my back wasn't pumped or wasn't what he wanted. It wasn't full enough.
Fat?
I think he was trying to say fat.
Yeah.
He was trying to be nice.
But
then it's Jack Sullivan, so I feel like he wouldn't have just said that.
Yeah.
And
people
then
don't. Even judges, they won't just go, "Sorry, mate, you were too fat." They
Yeah.
just won't say that. They'll always say like, "It just wasn't quite what we were looking for." No,
Yeah.
just tell me. Like, just say what
I
it
did
was.
struggle to get a pump.
Yeah.
I did all last year. I struggled to get a pump last year. So I think, and then I did in France. Becky, who's also an Olympiad judge, told me my front wasn't quite pumped enough. Whereas obviously my condition from the front is always better from the back. So I knew it wasn't a condition issue.
Yeah.
I knew it was a fullness and a.
How come you couldn't get a pump? Or why do you think?
I think because I focused so much on my back getting pumped, I forgot to pump
So
my front. So it's like now it's like right, make sure everything's pumped.
Yeah.
Which again I've done. But the regional I just did, I realised that I didn't give myself long enough to pump because I was like we were hanging backstage and I was a bit like I don't want to pump up and then go flat.
Yeah.
And then
It's difficult. I think people forget that. Like, especially every show's different. You don't know exactly how long you're going to get. They'll tell you it's 10 minutes and then it's 2 minutes, or they'll tell you it's half an hour and then it's 3 hours. It's like,
and I think men's physique, it's actually like more noticeable. I find like I feel like in bodybuilding, because for example, you don't pump up your legs. If your legs are fucking stacked, like your legs are going to look impressive. Your glutes, you don't need to be pumping up.
You
your
don't
glutes.
need to be full.
Like if your arms are slightly deflated, it's like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Men's physique, if your delts or lats aren't popping,
yeah,
you're done. Like you're literally
100%.
going from first to third to fourth.
like Hollingshead didn't pump up for his routines at the Arnold.
He shouldn't have. He was way too full.
But he because he wanted to save it for the nitro comparisons.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell
Yeah.
because when you're that peeled, that bursting full,
Yeah,
that
he was stupidly full.
Yeah.
so like but here's one of them. It's one of them. Every show's a learning experience. If you come away from a show and you haven't learned something, then you kind of wasted your time in a way.
Yeah, I think you learn. I said this after my first season. The ones you win, you don't learn because I know you've won. You've got 2 overalls for PCA, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when you win an overall, you don't really learn that much.
No,
You think everything was good.
because you think
Everyone tells
everything's
you
gone.
you're great.
Everything's gone really well. I remember when I wrote my log after I won the overall in my first show, and it was nothing but positives.
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
next one when I got second, it was like this could be better, that could be
Yeah,
better,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
I look back and think that's way more important to
even
take
if you were
things.
better at that second show,
exactly. Yeah.
just because you won doesn't mean you can't be better.
You don't remember the fact that you were struggling to get a pump in your biceps beforehand when you win, but when you lose, you're like you start to analyse, and those are the sort of things that can add up and give you those extra points. So,
Even when I have won in overalls in both PCA and Two Bros, I've always still gone to the head judge and been like, "Thank you very much for placing me first. Like, is there anything I can do to be better?"
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, even if you do win, there is still room for improvement.
100%. Yeah.
That's how you've got to be. Otherwise, you just end up standing still. Like, especially with the standard and the amount of other people that compete. Like, if you're not constantly trying to get better, then you end up going backwards.
Exactly. If you do the same thing as last time and you don't win, you're like, "Well, I won last time. Why didn't I win this time?" And then it's almost if you'd learned that from the previous one where you did win, you then could have won that one. And it's like.
So what shows did you do last year?
So I did a regional, which got pulled forward 7 weeks. So I was effectively 7 weeks out from a regional when I did a regional.
Yeah.
And then I went from that, which I was fat on stage.
Were you still with Rob at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to Hader and Zach backstage, and I think Zach went, "Oh, you look like you spilled a bit, mate," not realising I was competing. And
no, I'm actually
yeah, I was like,
this isn't Milana tan. This is actually my normal tan.
Yeah, and he was like, "I didn't actually realise you were getting on stage. You're like that."
Why did you not choose a different show?
Because regionals, you just tick a box and then fuck off elsewhere.
Yeah, that was the mindset of just tick a box and then crack on and do pro qualifiers.
Hope they don't upload a
Jackie
photo.
was special.
Yeah, hope they don't upload an Instagram photo of your class. Be like, just let me just sneak through. No one will know. I won't post about it.
And that was probably one of the hardest things to swallow.
Yeah.
Was just getting on stage like that.
When you say out of shape, like what? So what was your weight on that? Like,
you're not going to be like drastically out of shape 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, last year compared to this year, maybe actually.
I was pretty fat.
Yeah.
And I remember finishing that show being like, that was awful. I went home, got on the Stairmaster for an hour.
Yeah.
I was like,
did you finish like dead last in the class, or where did you finish?
4 out of 4.
So
yeah. And I was
what
just
was the standard of people like? Not the best.
It was decent, but it wasn't like. I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just remember being last and being like.
You knew it was like you weren't going in expecting to win everything. Like.
No, and I knew it was a tick the box exercise, and I was fully aware of that, but I don't think I was fully aware how it would feel.
Yeah.
And then I had 4 weeks to go from that to the first pro qualifier, which was Norway. So basically, food went, cardio went sky high, and I managed to get the win in Norway. Okay. So I won my class in Norway, somehow got in shape in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But then I was in such a hole from that, trying to carry that through to more pro qualifiers. Don't get me wrong, I still won the classes, but I could have been better, I think. Yeah. If I wasn't in that much of a hole and I've been kind of given that those extra weeks to kind of bring it in at a decent pace, I could have done better. But
how many shows did you do after the first pro qual?
3, I think.
Yeah.
So I did Norway, Austria, and France.
And the PCA show.
Oh yeah, I did the PCA show in the middle. Yeah.
Right.
So that's gone out of his memory.
So,
of course, that was gone.
How did that go, Matt?
So Poland was really good. PCA was interesting. Obviously, your client.
What's your
Finn,
opinion on that? Yeah.
On him beating me?
Yeah.
He looked awesome.
Yeah.
He looked really, really good. Yeah. And the judges put him first. Who am I to argue?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he beat me.
I was saying all day to him, I was like,
"You're gonna get beat."
I was like, "Matt's gonna beat you in the overall."
That's everyone was saying backstage.
You'd competed the week before, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And I remember I said to you about like coming back, and you were like, "I feel alright," but like I don't think you looked your best there. If I'm honest, like I don't think like from the back you thought you were pretty soft in comparison. You didn't look soft. You looked watery.
Yeah.
I remember when your tan didn't look that good either.
Nope.
I don't think you had much like you can just tell somebody's just
when
looking
was
a bit
that in
dead.
the timeline? So like after the regional,
the 12th of September, if I'm not mistaken. 11th of September. It's like second weekend or like.
I think it was a second or third show, but I think the reason we did that was to kind of like
really dug. Like,
I think it was maybe a show or two after that.
Yeah.
But I think the idea behind doing that show was to try and fill me out.
Yeah.
And we did 2,500 grams of carbs over 3 days.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we did that for this recent regional, but I was in shape.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're not in condition.
And not even that when you're fatigued, like, let's say your body's stressed, like you don't soak it up well. And like I remember you saying to me, I haven't really I can't really spill. Like I think you said you struggle to gain weight, and it's like that's not actually a good thing. Like
no, that's fatigue.
Yeah, that's literally your body's like fucked, and you're not going to be looking that good.
That's it.
Like when you actually gain a bit of weight and it's in a somewhat linear fashion, you're like, okay, this is probably when you're a bit more responsive. But yeah, I remember, like I said, Finley went up against you, and I was like, beforehand, I was like, let's just see how you do. You're probably going to get beat. And then by a few rounds, I was like, we could get this. And then, but it was one of those, again, I didn't think you were at your best. Like, I think you
100%. Not that it would have gone any other way if I was, but hats off to him. He looked awesome. He's got a great shape. And his front shot is deadly.
His front shot's stupid.
Deadly.
Like,
it's a shame he can't eat.
Yeah, shame he can't eat and shame he can't stick to his fucking diet.
Say, imagine if he was actually decent.
Yeah, imagine if
he could actually be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, if he actually
if
he somehow managed to diet and also managed to actually push up more than push up more than 4,000 calories. You know, it'd be crazy.
That's one thing I've always struggled to understand from being a fat gamer.
Yeah,
and being like,
how do people not eat?
How do you not? I've been up to 6,500 calories a day for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And being like, this is the dream.
Yeah.
Whereas people are like, oh, 3,500, 4,000 calories, man. I'm trying to get it in. I'm like, what do you mean trying to get it in?
I think a lot of it is food choices, though.
Yeah.
Because like, I've been that guy in the past where I've been like, fucking hell, this is hard. Yeah. Like, thinking now with what I know in terms of how I can manage my food, like, I feel like I could eat as much as I could eat 6,000, 7,000 calories. I'd be full, but I could do it. Whereas before, like on like 5,000 or whatever, I'm like, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
But then I'm having oats still. It's like, well, there you go.
And loads of pasta.
You're making bad choices.
Yeah. I think that is one of the biggest things is what people don't realise that things don't digest well with them because they feel full after a meal.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people associate being full after a meal as a very normal thing.
Yeah.
Being bloated's fine because you've just eaten. It's like, no, if it sits well, it sits well.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, you'll feel bloated, you'll feel gassy, and people are like, oh, I feel a bit bloated after this meal. It's like, for how long?
Yeah.
An hour or two? It's like, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be taking 2 hours to digest.
I also think people like that feeling of being full.
So
I want to feel full after every meal. It's like, but when you're trying to push a lot of food, you almost want to try and make sure you're not feeling that full after every meal.
Yeah, especially if you are like deep in an off season, you're not having an off-plan meal and then you're back to poverty food.
Yeah.
You've got the same the next day. So use food choices as
digest. It's a knock-on effect in an off-season. I find you have an off-plan meal, and then it's like that. Or you wake up the following day,
that impacts the next morning,
and then you push your meals back, or you wake up later because your sleep wasn't the best. All that sort of stuff. So speaking about your off-season, so that was the shows wrapped up. Did well, but obviously pretty battered towards the end.
Yeah.
You made a lot of progress in a short period of time, off-season wise.
So
were you still working with Rob after?
No, so I left Rob at the end of prep last year, which.
Do you want to go into any detail with that? Like, was there a reason? Did you feel like he just got to the end of his course? Or?
I'd done a lot of seasons for Rob, and he did a lot for me.
Yeah.
He did a hell of a lot for me as an athlete.
Yeah. Seems like a good dude, Rob. I haven't really spoken to him, but he does seem like a good dude.
But I wouldn't be where I am without him. because he kind of taught me. He's a no BS guy.
Yeah.
If you say you mess on a plan, he's like, what are you doing? Get out. Like, do you know what I mean? He's not doesn't take shit, which I think I learn a lot from. So then I'm very coachable. I know I'm coachable because Zach's told me I'm very coachable because he says jump, I say how high and where.
Yeah.
But I basically was speaking to my partner and we were thinking of, right, I was going to take a year off. Like, I've been a couple of years. We've been together 3 years. I've done every year we've been together. Or 2 years.
And you're like, psych, I'm back again this
year. And it was Amy that turned around and went, you're so close. Like, you're in the middle of these overalls. Yeah. If you take a year out, who knows, like, what's going to happen, if you're going to, you just strike while on top. And I was like, are you sure? Like, she's like, do it. So she's the only reason I'm competing this year. Yeah. Okay. So when I'm grumpy or if I'm tired, I'm like, you told me. Yeah, you told me. This is your idea.
Usually the like partner would be like, oh, maybe don't do it.
Yeah.
So that's good that she's like pushing.
Yeah, and like we've got plans for like, family and things like that, and that's very much like after this prep's done, whether this is like this show or a couple of shows, I'm taking some time off just because I need it. I know I need it, and I'll stay with Zach and I'll do my off season with Zach. But I just need to, once I have got my pro card, which will be this year. I know it'll be this year because I'm gonna turn up.
Sure it's this year.
I need to because I've done a year now. Last year when I was in the middle of the overalls, I've put a lot of time, money, effort, relationship into this. Yeah. Doing wrong, Amy's incredible. She is so supportive until I forget to take the bins out or I leave a cupboard open. But I want to do this for myself as much as her and things like that. So I'll take the time off and I'll obviously, improve and come back as a pro. But
how did you choose Zach? How come you went from Rob to Zach?
So I've known Zach a long time, just because obviously he's friends with Mark Hector. I'm friends with Mark, and we're kind of him, Hayder, Mark. They're all kind of like friends. And it was between Zach and Kuba, but purely from a hardcore bodybuilder mentality. And Mark was like, I think Zach's killing it in men's physique, and I was like, you're right, and I'm a men's physique athlete, and that was quite an easy choice to be made actually. It was a case of, well, Zach knows men's physique. Zach is a very good coach. Who else do I want to work with at the moment? It was Zach. And then we did a short off season from September until January, so 3 months. I put on a fair amount of size. I think I ended up at like 94, up from 80. In not completely fat. I was still in fairly decent condition. And then it's been the most enjoyable prep I've ever done. Just because it's felt more like a bodybuilding prep. It's felt like I'm an athlete. He's fed me if I needed to. He's rested me. Like I've done things that bodybuilders do, rather than it just being like a fat loss contest. Who can get peeled the quickest? Or like an urgency to get peeled because I'm not in shape. It's been a case of like,
stay a bit leaner in your off season, start off at a lean. Because I remember like when you were at your heaviest, you didn't look fat at all.
No.
I remember like you still had like veins on your quads. I think you're doing cardio still pretty much every day, weren't you? Or
I kept 25 minutes in daily.
Yeah, which is good. Like I think that's something that a lot of people probably
transition into prep.
Yeah, you have that routine.
Blood work was just like I literally finished a blast and my blood work was perfect. Like everything was in range, and I was like, okay, wicked. And that's just obviously being on top of health subs, being on top of cardio. I love food, so like if I eat clean because it gives me more food. You know what I mean? It's like I'd rather go out for like, if I'm going for an off-plan meal, I'd rather go for something like Thai food or Greek food because I can eat more.
I think we say that with Thai food, don't we?
Thai food is elite. Especially like an
off-plan in Dublin was good.
Was it?
Yeah, very good.
That's good. So when it comes to, I know you obviously said like what differences off-season wise, like in that short period of time, how was any change to training that Zach did? You mentioned food, like was there anything that you did differently other than just keep routine and just learn from previous mistakes, or was it just a case of like same old really?
Training wise, there's a lot of chest volume because my chest needs to come up.
I feel like in that front shot, you're like, obviously the way you hit it with like both hands on, and then obviously you've got your one hand on hip. I don't think your chest is bad, but I think it's always one of those where you can never say no to more chest just popping. Especially, and your delts, like, I feel like, especially your kind of taper, that chest is like, you just look at it immediately. And like, your lats insert well. So it's like, if that chest could be developed, I can understand. So more chest work,
Yeah.
I remember you doing like loads of fucking Smith squats and stuff, like working on your legs.
Oh yeah,
that's also because I think you train
like a bodybuilder. Because of Mark Hector.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've always trained like a bodybuilder.
Doing like 4.5, 5 plate Smith squats. I remember, and I was like, yeah, that's fucking good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not quite your standard, but I've pulled 6.5 plates off the floor for 6.
Yeah.
I've squatted 5 plates for 10. Like I love training legs and training hard, training heavy. It's just men's physique gets a bad rap because some people previously have not trained legs.
Yeah.
And it is that class where you can get away with it.
Yeah.
In the past, whereas now they are judging.
Yeah.
How the not.
That's good though.
They're not judging legs, but they're judging proportion of the legs.
Yeah. And some people's legs are like it's embarrassing. Like regardless of men's physique, it's like there should be a flow. If you're a men's physique athlete, you should be training legs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, you should be holding yourself to be an actual athlete.
Yeah, and that's why we used to get a bad rap as athletes, and it was it's the men's bikini. It's because a lot of guys didn't. They just go and they do pump work in the gym. They do they do a bro session or a beach body session and go home. Whereas that got frowned upon by bodybuilders because it's not true bodybuilding. And I was kind of almost like, oh yeah, I'm in men's physique. Yeah. And it's a bit like, you know, it's, don't get me wrong, I love the class and like everything about it, the aesthetics, the shape, the structure, but bodybuilding, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we want to be bodybuilders. Yeah. We're not as big or as dense or as thick as the real bodybuilders. Yeah. But
you're still probably in better shape. And the sad reality is, like, top level amateur men's physique is probably better than, like, I'd say mid tier to even probably some top tier bodybuilders and classic guys. And that's like, I actually think that if you look at some people how they train and then also the condition. PCA show the other day, the first timer show, the best guys in condition were men's physique by an absolute mile. The bodybuilders, other than Tom, the overall winner, they're all soft. You know,
I think that is because we do have less cards to play with, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
bodybuilders come in with, they've got mass, density, thickness, grainness, all that sort of stuff. Whereas men's physique, you've got shape and you've got condition.
Yeah. And then muscularity and your delts, a little bit in your arms, your chest and your back. That's
but then, you know, at the end of the day, bodybuilders have a lot of aspects they can bring to the table, whereas we don't have as many.
Yeah. I also think as well, if you think about it, like growing up, most guys who were maybe a bit skinnier growing up, they probably more focused on men's physique. You know what I mean? So like, if you were just like pretty lean at 15 and you had good abs, you probably like, men's physique.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were just a big lad, a big bloke who like probably struggled to lose weight, you'd be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier for them.
With the era that I got into training and stuff like that, it was guys like the Gymshark, the original Gymshark crew, like Jeff Sides, Steve Cook, Ryan Terry, obviously the GOAT. Guys like that we looked at and were like, that is the look, and they all had legs. Yeah, like Ryan Terry. Don't get me wrong, the way he trains is an interesting way of training.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shit.
Not.
Mate, you can't say that.
Right, Jackie was number 2.
Yeah.
No, like
can't train or eat.
He trains hard, but he just doesn't train the way I train.
Yeah.
Not that I train hard. I'm just saying, I like the JP style.
Yeah.
I like the DC style training. You know, heavy, hard, 2 sets. Yeah. Top set, back off. Maybe even 1 set for some exercises. Yeah. Whereas he is very, very much 4 sets, 8 to 10 reps.
Yeah. Loads of supersets, drop sets.
Yeah.
With your training with Zach, do you say like, this is what I want to do? You know what I mean? Because we'll have clients where we'll let them have like a bit of freedom. Like, I wouldn't just be like, this is what you're doing if they didn't enjoy it. You know what I mean? So you'll say to him, this is what I like doing.
Yeah, he knows that I like, and Zach trains the same as me. He trains the two sets. Yeah. And if we were all as like God's gift as Ryan Terry is, I mean, he is the elite, right? He is the goal of men's physique for me anyway. He's been like the one that I've looked at and gone, if I could look like that, I'd complete it. Yeah. I'd be done. Yeah. But we're not all as blessed as he is. He's incredible. But for me, I have that. You know, Zach trains the same way as I do. The 2 sets. He allows me to do my own diet. He gives me my macros.
Oh really?
Even today.
Yeah, I think that
I've got 5 meals.
Yeah.
They're each 200 carbs. So they're all what my macros are. And because I'm a competent person, I'm a coach as well.
Yeah, does he know what you have?
Yeah. So through the previous carb up, he didn't ask me what I was eating. But it was the same as this one. But he said, just do tell me your diet, mate.
Yeah.
And I sent it over to him yesterday. I was like, yeah, perfect, spot on.
That's what I have. Yeah. Like, for most of my prep clients, I'll be like, these are your macros, but show me what you're having, and then like I'll recommend adjustments. But I'm like, still want you to choose because it makes a massive difference. Like if you're enjoying your food.
Up until I'd say probably like for most people like sub 4 weeks out, because if you weren't a competent individual who's done it for years, most people
baking powder and everything.
Yeah, most people would be like, right, I've got this amount of carbs. How can I squeeze an extra
Reese's cup in?
And do this. And if I have this, if I pull this down, I'll be able to have my final meal and have this with my girlfriend. And it's like, there's a time and a place where you just got to be like, I've got to be an athlete. I might have to do things that are a bit more boring.
100%. And I think like, if you really want to win, what you're eating doesn't make much of a difference. Like you just have to get it done.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you do want to macro in something a bit more exciting, but is that gonna benefit? Is that close to the goal?
Causes more stress.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Like, because then you're thinking, I could fit that in, or maybe I could fit that in, and then you're like, you spent half an hour trying to plan something on MyFitnessPal. It's like, mate, just fucking eat your meal.
When you were eating more food, Finn was like looking through MyFitnessPal, planning for like half an hour, and I was like, just have that. And then he was like saying,
what am I doing?
Well, this is the same amount of calories as this. What do you reckon? I was like, mate, just pick it and just put it in. What I used to do is I'd do my cardio in the morning. And like for the first 5 minutes, I'd set my food, and then the second I'd like set my food, MyFitnessPal is closed, and I know my food, and I wouldn't make a change. And I literally would say to myself,
I'd never make a change throughout the day.
Yeah, I'm putting in my food. I'm putting in my food, and that's what I'm going to have. And I would not think about it. And then the second it's in, the only time I'd ever make a change is if I've had like, let's say a carb up. I've had 2 cream of rice meals. The first one is a little bit heavier, and you can just tell. I'll go, okay, instead of cream of rice, have cereal or something like that. But
100%.
a lot of times it can just lead, especially if you're not somebody who's experienced, where you just try and fit shit in, or you're like, because again, the thoughts of something new, it's like variants. You're like, I haven't tried this.
You'll see something on the shelf like a thin wrap. You're like, that's 10 less carb. I could have more wraps. It's like
a wrap and a quarter.
Yeah, I could wrap the wrap in the wrap.
Oh my god.
But like I effectively do have a meal plan because my food is the same every single day. I just literally. So that goes right up to 25 carb. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take
That's exactly how I run it. I think it works the best way.
Yeah.
So how low has your food been this prep?
Lowest I've gone is 50 carb and on a rest day. Okay. Lowest I've gone on a training day is 100 carb.
That's a lot on a training day.
What about total calories? How low have your fats gone?
Yes.
He's saying 50 and 100 carb, but he's like, I'm having 300 grams of fat. You're great.
No, so protein's been 280 for a decent amount of time. Fats on a training day 40, on a rest day 50.
What's your body weight now?
This morning was in the 80s, so 80.9 this morning, which is a prep low. Yeah. But yesterday was 100 grams of carbs.
So today's your first high day?
Yes, which is 1,000 grams of carbs. So quite the disparity from yesterday. But being a foodie, I hate that's such a weird term, but like someone that likes food a lot, but also being a bodybuilder, I have to kind of find that balance of being like we were saying, like not trying to fit too many different macros in, just being like, no, just stick to the foods I know.
Today, obviously, like you say, you're having 5 meals of 200 carb.
Yeah.
What's your protein for today?
Protein is 200 for today.
Okay.
And fat 50.
40 protein pretty much across each.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Every meal is exactly the same. So 40 protein, 200 carb, 10 fat. Cool. And it's literally cream of rice, peanut butter, chicken, or jasmine rice, chicken, and some fat sauce. And I'll make up some of the carbs with like some rice cakes, fruits like pineapple, blueberry, that sort of stuff. Just keeping it simple.
We're all feeling good.
Well. I had 150 grams of cream of rice, which I like to volumise a lot. I don't use baking powder like that. Just lots of water.
A lot of hot water.
Water and stir. And 150 grams is like a big mixing bowl. And 20 minutes later, I'm like, I'm hungry again.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, the focus is the show, right?
Yeah.
I can eat after the show, or I can eat when I want my card.
Yeah.
Food's always there. Yeah. People get obsessed with food, and I think, don't get me wrong, I get it. Cause
you're lean.
Everyone's going to be food focused, especially post-show.
Yeah, 100%. But it's a short period. The thing is, especially when it's like your first prep, it's almost like, I remember when I said this on the last podcast, I finished my first prep and I was like, oh my God, my life's like, I'm stressful. Yeah, it's like, wow, I can live again. But in reality, it's like, it's for a short period of time that you just commit to. And like, if you have to be hungry now, let's say, for example, you win your card this weekend, or you don't, and you're in prep for another month, 2 months, whatever, it's only a short period of time.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to be feeling, maybe not how you feel today, you probably feel pretty good, but like yesterday,
Yeah.
like you're not going to feel like you have done probably in the last couple of days for the next, like for the whole part of your life. It's just going to be a month or two where you're going to have some days you feel really good, some hours you feel really good, but then other hours and days you feel a bit shit. You know?
And that's the thing, with like peak week, you're going to feel dead, right? Because you are literally not, we didn't deplete, but we ran low carb just to get the body primed and ready. But it could be worse.
Yeah.
Like
I could, loads more cardio.
Or I could not know where my next meal's coming from.
Yeah.
Or I could be financially in so much struggle. I could be ill. I could be. I could have a family member that's really. I could have so many worse situations than. Oh, I've got 5 meals of chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, I get to go to the gym twice a day.
Yeah.
I've always had that perspective of like, I get to do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a privilege.
Yeah.
Especially bodybuilding. You know how much bodybuilding shows cost, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, a prep is expensive. Especially, I do, international shows.
Yeah.
Hotels, flights, all that is not cheap. Sort of this is such a privileged sport. I think people forget that when they're moaning and complaining that, oh, I've got to go do cardio. Oh, I've got to do steps. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, there's points where I'm like, God, I'm dragging my feet today. Yeah. But it could be 100 times
worse. You couldn't do it, like, I can't even walk. Yeah. Like, you're moaning about struggling doing your steps, but you can walk. Like, it's hard to think like that, though, when you're in it.
Like, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, when you're deeper in prep and you're like, oh, I've got 4,000 steps left and it's 10 p.m, you're like, I'm the unluckiest person in the world. It's like, just walk around the block and get it done. Get it done, go to bed. Sound like. Yeah, you could, when it comes to suffering, you kind of have that like outer perspective of like, am I suffering or am I just tired? Yeah. Like, I could be in so many different worse situations than. Okay, I've got 1 meal left, and it's 4 p.m.
The worst situation was having Gerard in your class last week.
Oh,
that was the worst situation. Seeing him in your class, being like, "Why the fuck's this guy in my class?"
You're definitely class C.
Yeah,
why are you in B?
Measuring tape.
The first time you competed against him.
Yeah, because he's always C or D. Yeah, because he is taller than me.
So this was Matt's first show.
The regional,
so the regional just gone. It was not last week and the weekend before.
The one we did the review on.
Yeah, so have a watch of that. We did a review. Yeah. You got second to Gerard, didn't you?
I'll take that.
Yeah,
he's so good.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. Like, I have to, and I do believe I can beat him.
Yeah.
I think there's aspects I bring to the stage that could beat him.
Yeah.
And hopefully this weekend that rings true. But to be beaten by such a good athlete, you have to just take on the chin, don't you?
Yeah.
Like he was better than me on the day.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you think it was close? Like.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I've been told by judges, I've been told by friends, and people that don't talk, that don't gas you up, that said it was very close. Yeah. And I know how good he is. Yeah. So self-confidence isn't something I've got. So to be told I'm close to him, I'm like,
think he's really good.
Yeah, someone that I'm like, damn, I'm close to him. Okay, well I must be alright at this then.
Yeah, I think that's like we were saying. You were chatting to that guy in the gym earlier. Like every time, like when you're backstage, everyone looks bigger and better than you.
Oh yeah.
And then when you place ahead of them, you go, oh shit, I must be alright then. Like that happened to me this year. Like I was like, that guy looked mint backstage, and I've just beat him. And then I look at me and I'm like, but I'm shit. And then I look at the photos and I go, oh, actually, I'm not as bad as I thought. Like
genuinely, every show I've been to, I've been backstage and I've thought, well, I'm in a different country. I can go and experience this after. I'll go have some food later.
You start rationalising it in your head,
and you're like, well, okay, I didn't win today. But then you win, and you're like, how have I just beaten that guy? Like, he's awesome. Yeah. And it's like it's almost, I don't know. It gives you a lot of confidence, but at the same time, everyone has that self doubt.
You're never gonna, you can't.
Even if you're the best of the best, I think you're still gonna have.
You're always gonna view yourself in a worse.
Not quite as good as that guy or that guy.
Yeah. So and I think that's part of the dark beauty of bodybuilding.
100%.
Is you're never gonna be
content.
No. And if you were, then you're gonna stop, aren't you?
You're done, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. You're not gonna train. You're not gonna.
Well, the people that are content, I'd argue, aren't the ones that get that very far.
No.
Because they're the ones who probably
get
just
complacent.
Yeah, exactly. And it shows. I feel like to be at the top of the amateurs, top of the pros, I bet there's some pros that are like I feel like you have to be slightly mentally a bit disturbed when it comes to like how you view yourself, how you hold
sad,
yourself.
Really, but it's
like
how you get better. And better.
Yeah, the way you spoke, there's been a few things that I can tell and you just go, that's an athlete.
Yeah.
There's a few things that you say and you're just like, that you can understand and go.
You can understand why you're good, why you're decent.
I think I can lock into something and I can get it no matter what. So bit of a deep one, but my stepmom passed away on a Tuesday, and I'd planned to do a show on a Sunday. Okay. Literally, she was like a second mum to me. She did everything for me. She was like my mum. Yeah. And I got off the phone and I said to Amy, I was like, Jackie's just died. I was like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, cardio then. I'll see you in a bit. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I'm on prep. I'm 6 days out. And she was like, no, you just sit down. And I was like, no, I'm on prep.
Keep me in a
and I literally, I did that show. I won the overall.
I say stuff like that to clients all the time. Like, bodybuilding gives you that purpose and that focus. So, like, no matter what shit's going on, you're like, well, I've got my meal to get in.
Yeah.
I've got to go and train because it's time to train. Like, that's why like having that routine of being so regimented. Like, no matter what other shit's going on.
I don't know if I've said on the podcast about my grandma dying. Similar story. I lived with my grandparents. My mum was a single parent. So my grandma died when I was like 14 or 15, and I got the call 10 to 3 when I was just finishing school, and my mum was like, "Oh, she's passed away." And I was like, okay. And she was like, do you want me to come and get you? And I was like, I'm training back. And I trained back for 4 hours. I literally did 4 hours of just back training till like 9 p.m. And I was
like, you can forget everything else going on and just go and train.
Yeah. Like, I did have that sense of when I won the overall, I kind of was like, that was for you.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, I was like, there was no way I was missing a beat.
No.
Because one, she wouldn't want me to. Because she did everything. Like, she was always so supportive.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, as dark as it sounds, well, I can't change it.
Yeah,
I can't do anything about it.
No,
you not doing the show isn't going to bring it back.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's not going to make it any better. It's still going to hurt.
Yeah.
So I may as well
keep doing what you love doing.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're not going to not kick yourself for it, but like I feel like if you make that choice, it just leads to more choices where you end up just not doing things that are positive for you.
And it's a spiral, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, as soon as you take that one sort of easy route, that one where you go, oh, I don't need to do my cardio today because this has happened. Then it's like you're looking for, it is though, and like obviously that would be an absolutely fine excuse. But still, like in your head, it's like, well, I'm not gonna.
Like, the client's like, oh, my stepmom or mum died, like, but your dad's still alive.
You got one.
You got one still there. So you're not an awful.
Is your actual mum alive?
Yeah,
could be worse, mate. Do you can't?
Could be the real deal. Like,
could be the real deal. She's not even related to you, bro.
No blood there.
Yeah, right. And be like, right, send me the pic of the Stairmaster, please, in half hour.
But like Carlos Thomas Jr., he's just pulled out of the Arnold Brazil because he's had a death in the family. Yeah. I think Brazil, they're very much like family is everything. Yeah. But so it's a completely understandable thing to do. Yeah. And Amy was a bit like, what do you mean you're going to do 100 cardio and then you're going to go and train later? And I was like, if I don't, I'm going to feel worse because I haven't done what I want to do, what I feel is the necessary thing to do.
And what just keeps your head on. Like, 100%. If you hadn't done that cardio, you'd been sat chatting about it, probably crying about it. Like,
that's it.
Whereas, like, and it's probably not
dealing
healthy.
with it mentally healthily.
Yeah, it's probably not healthy to go and just almost like block it out. Yeah. But for you, it was the right thing to do, and it would be for me. Like, I'd be like, I've just got to carry on, keep doing what I'm doing.
I think the best athletes are just like as cringy, they're just savages.
Yeah,
but you just have to get it done. Yeah. People are, I do a lot of Stairmaster. I'm on the stairs for an hour in the morning.
You love the stairs, bro.
Yeah,
every Monday, or it's like Monday with a tick on that.
Yeah, like I do a fair amount of cardio to get in shape, and I do an hour and a half on the stairs a day. And like, people are like, I don't know how you do it. I'm gassed after. I was like, well, I just have to do it. Yeah. I'm like, in my head, I don't have a choice. Yeah. There isn't I could just do cross training today because my legs hurt. It's like, well, no, I've got an hour and a half on the stairs.
And I'd argue, Stairmaster is actually, and this is again a bit like off topic, but it kind of is just about Stairmaster. It's way easier when you lean than pedaling on a bike. Because you don't
keeping your heart rate up, thinking, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah, it's the easiest form. Like, people act like the Stairmaster's so hard, and it's like, no, actually, when you're really lean and you're pretty fit, trying to keep your heart rate up on the bike, it is impossible. You're getting pissed off. You're looking at your watch and you're like,
trying to go faster and faster. You've got it on the head.
Yeah, exactly. Where if you're on a Stairmaster, it's just right, put a YouTube video on or put something on.
Pressure level and
then just walk. You don't even have to think.
You're in podcast on.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to the boys. Yeah,
exactly. And here you are, mate. Here you are.
You can watch this episode back.
Yeah, thinking, what was I waffling on about? Had a few carbs and he's saying all sorts.
So this weekend, you're going in. Gerard might not be in your class, but he probably will be in the overall if you get there.
Yes.
Do you know anybody that you might be up against in your class? Anybody that's flying in? Do you know, or is it just a case of like you haven't really thought about it?
There's one other guy called Ben Fock who is in my class. You mentioned him in your review.
I think we didn't know him and we said that Asian guy's good.
Yeah.
Which show?
The original.
This show.
Okay. He came fourth. Okay. But
easy win then.
Not necessarily. He could come in. He could surprise everyone, couldn't he? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But he's a really nice guy. Really nice guy. But he's the only one I know in my class. Yeah. Everyone else I know, Zach's got two other lads in A, obviously Alex and Piers. Yeah. They'll be battling out this weekend.
They're in the same class, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, they are. So that'll be a good battle. Piers took the win at the regional, but Alex wasn't 100%.
Yeah, he was liking the stories of you, and then I tagged him saying like he wants an invite, and he was like, I just want to support a brother or a teammate on the podcast. And I was like, yeah, sure.
But they're both incredible athletes. Yeah. But like I think with the overalls, it's way more open than any class.
Yes.
Because I think you're compared to so many different physiques.
Yeah.
That disparity can almost sway the judges.
Yeah.
Because they're like, these are all winners.
Yeah.
What are we looking for in who's got the
best
most
winner?
Yeah.
I feel like in a way, and this is a little bit like stereotypical, but let's say you look at Gerard. So your classic like wicked V-taper, like wicked midsection. Yeah, she looks men's physique. However, if let's say the lineup was filled with, let's say, 3 to 4 guys who look similar to him, and then you had somebody like you hitting a front shot differently, that probably would actually make him almost look blurred in comparison to you, where you would stand out. And that's where the overalls, like for example, I'd almost be hoping like Pierce, I'd be saying, no, don't win the class. Like, and obviously you will, but he's probably more similar to you in regards than Gerard is. You know what I mean? So I'd almost be thinking like you ideally want to get people that just look, basically just get a black guy's midsection and just hope that is he white? Oh, he's white, but he's got a black guy midsection. Give him the win. But it's one of those in the overalls, you just never know. So it'll be good to see this weekend. Have you got any predictions for any other classes? Do you follow any other classes, or is it just a case where you focus on men's physique? And
Open, I like Nathan Heck.
Yeah.
He's quality. He's a really nice guy. The Open, you've obviously, I think, got Matt Tofton doing it as well.
Yeah.
And I think Cal's got a guy coming as well. I can't remember. But Classy, obviously, Mind and Muscle.
Yeah.
Brandon looks
very
unreal.
good.
Yeah. He's probably the pick of the bunch.
How did he look in person? Did you see him in person?
I saw him when he did. Yeah, I saw him at the regional. Looked awesome. Saw him last year as well when he won the overall at Subarus. And he's got pro written all over him.
He looks like a pro.
Yeah, he's like already there, isn't he?
Yeah. And if he doesn't win it, like I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
But there is other guys that, like I said, it just comes down to what the judges prefer, and it always does. And when you're compared to other people, your strengths might win on the day. They might not. It's so. That's one of the things about bodybuilding. Like, you know that you said that disparity of the overalls. That's where like Jamie Johal or like Josh Maley, because they were the 6'5" bodybuilders, either works in their favour or completely against them.
I think more often it works against them.
It does,
They just stand out. Like, difficult to fill out that frame as well.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, when you've got like the Olympia, and you've got like the Haddy, and you've got the Derek Lunsfords, and you've got like the taller guys, they kind of get pushed back a little bit because they're comparing the smaller guys, and then vice versa, when you've got like maybe the taller guys like Brandau, you've got Hollingshead, and then you've got Haddy and Samson. Haddy's down here and the other guys are up here. Does that work in Haddy's favour? Yeah. Obviously it did.
I think it does. They just look so compact and their shape just looks better. Like Samson's ridiculous, but Haddy just, like his shape just looks like he's just an X.
Yeah. And like, it doesn't look like there's that much of a disparity between their muscularity.
No,
but there's
just the height.
40 pounds difference. Yeah. And you're like, how does someone 40 pounds heavier
look a bit smaller?
Like how do you stand next to a guy that's 40 pounds heavier than you and not look 40 pounds less?
Height just plays a massive role, doesn't it? Like, even if you're like a couple of inches taller, like you're going to probably have 10 to 15 pounds. Yeah. Even if you're both shredded and have the same amount of muscle.
LeBron James is like 270. I'm like, what? Yeah, he's open class?
He's got arms that like go down to his knees when he's like.
But you forget, obviously, he's an absolute giant.
Yeah.
So
if you were to like, again, it's difficult to say, but if you were to put like a percentage in terms of your chance of winning your pro card this weekend, what would you say?
1% chance, 99% hope.
Yeah. No, I think.
No, but it's harsh. That's where you got a higher percentage than 1%.
Well, it's one of those you want to be like.
100%.
I'm saying 100% because I'm going to be going in with confidence, but like it's obviously.
I'm not an overly confident person.
Yeah.
And like I've always said, I've never had that. Like even when I've won like the overalls, I've won my class in international shows. I'm like, oh, well, that's a surprise.
Cool. Like,
don't have done that one.
Yeah, like I was lucky.
Yeah.
But then, I think Zach wouldn't. He said to me, I wouldn't put you into this show if I didn't think you could win.
Yeah.
And he's told me you have the right to be, hunting for that card.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people say, I'm hunting for a pro card. You're like, but are you?
Yeah.
Are you just stepping on stage, or are you actually going there with the chance of winning?
The intent, yeah.
And I genuinely, this is probably the first time like I've actually felt this. I genuinely feel like I can win.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's delusion or not, I don't know. But I genuinely think I could walk away with a win.
Yeah.
And I think some people say, well, you have to think that, otherwise what? But I've never thought that, and I still always ticked every single box and never missed a beat, even though I've never thought I was going to win.
Yeah.
So when I do think I can win, I'm ticking the box, it's dangerous.
It's almost inevitable.
No. What do you think's changed to why have you got that mindset now?
I think just
being beat by Finlay.
Just turn me into a savage.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just
time and growing more and getting better.
Yeah, I think just like not the record, but the wins stand for themselves, right? Like I am getting into the overalls in these international shows with guys that are coming in from various countries across the world, and I'm standing in these overalls and I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And to do that once, okay, cool, you might get lucky.
Yeah.
But to do it 4 times,
there
must be something to it. And to have Jack Sullivan and Becky Clawson say like, you're there.
Yeah.
They literally said to me, you are there. You have a pro. You could step on a pro stage, or you could win your pro card. Just today, you needed to be better at this.
Yeah.
And then I've gone away and I've made those improvements. Yeah. I've done what they've asked, and if it's if what they've said is genuine feedback, and that's what they saw, and they why not?
Yeah.
Do you think your peak is better this time than it has been previously? Like, how are you doing things with Zach? Like, better just because you've been able to lose slower towards the end, and
because of the time management of the prep.
Yeah.
It has been very much like we've almost dialed it in nicely, so that when I have hit that if I've dropped too quickly, like I think it was on Monday, I hit like I was in the 80s, and it was like, well, we don't need to be that low quite yet. So we put 500 carb in, bump me back up, and then bump me back down again. So if I've needed to be fed, he's fed me, and it hasn't been a case of like, oh well, we're on peak week, we've got to deplete, so we're just keep depleting. It's like no.
We're ahead, like
let's just chill for a second.
So much with...
I've held performance for most of the prep. Like I haven't gone overly weak. I've managed to maintain numbers for the most part until the last couple of weeks, where I've kind of had to just kind of think, this does feel super heavy today. What's risk versus reward? Like putting an extra, trying to match my reps here, or do I just, or try and be my reps, or do I just match my reps today, and just not get injured?
Has your performance held pretty well?
Yeah. Really, really well, to be fair. And I haven't really changed much to volume. I haven't had to, because recovery's been there, because I've been fed when I needed to be
you're not
fed.
killing yourself dieting.
I've had an off-plan meal. I've had refeeds when I needed them. So it's given me what I've needed to be able to carry that performance through, which I think has benefited the look a lot.
Yeah, and it's also probably fresher where you're now actually. Let's say if you have to carry on from this weekend.
Yeah.
You're probably like relatively okay.
Yeah.
It's not where like you're absolutely like smoked and you're like, God, just get me to the weekend and get me into an off season. Or
no, and that's the thing. There's a lot of guys doing this show. I know, for example, Dre. Yeah. Dre's doing this show, and he's amazing. Yeah. But I think he's more suited for classic, just because he's structurally he's so good for classic, and this is his. I think from what I've been talking to him, this is him. Then it's off season. Yeah. Whereas for me, like this is a 10 and 1 pro card. Yeah. From there, if it doesn't go my way, we look ahead.
And when it comes to looking ahead, have you got any lined up, or is it you just take it like weekend by weekend and see how things go?
In a way, I'm not booked anything, not planned anything, but I know Sweden's in 2 weeks. Yeah. Which I know Zach is going to. Yeah. And having Zach there would be great. And then the next one I've seen is Spain. Yeah. But those are just things that are in the near future. They're not necessarily plans. They're just I'm aware of what's about.
Yeah, which I think you should be. Like I think you should always have
I'm not
that.
delusional like, well, I'm going to win this weekend, obviously, so I don't need to look ahead. Yeah. It's just a case of knowing if it doesn't go my way, what do I do from there? Rather than going, oh, I didn't win.
I've got to think
what do I do now?
Yeah.
I've kind of got like not a plan B, but like a backup plan.
Well, hypothetical question. Let's say you win this weekend.
Yes.
What are you doing tonight? Where are you going for food? What are you doing? Are you having a week off the gym and you just get at your door? Because you said you're a foodie, so come on.
I bet you've not thought of that, have you? Like,
What? No. I bet you have before. What's your post-show routine? What is it? I always find it interesting.
Well, it was supposed to be Miller and Carter last weekend.
Okay.
But we got back and Amy she'd been in the car for 5 hours. She was just like...
Did you not say you've been in the car 5 hours? I've been prepping for 5 months. Let's go.
No, I felt for her. She was like, I've got a migraine. I was like, she's like, we can go. I was like, just go to bed.
Yeah.
So I ended up just going to get a Five Guys.
Okay.
2 burgers and chips, and then had a donut.
Fair enough.
But I think for me this time it's going to be more something like Greek or Thai or something.
Yeah.
Something like with flavour, different flavours. Yeah. I've got some friends coming down. They came down for the region. They're coming down again. Then we're going for food afterwards. Unfortunately, they're vegan. So that's a bit of a letdown. But so we have to be accommodating. I can't go to like a steakhouse to be like, right, you have the sides.
Yeah.
I'm only joking about the vegan thing. They are vegan, but it's not an unfortunate thing. They're saving the planet and all that sort of stuff.
They're horrible people.
We're pro-vegan on this podcast.
But obviously, it's my post show, but they've travelled down. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if I do win my pro card, or if I don't win my pro card, food's always there.
The main thing is just it's nice to have people there.
Yeah.
I always said like post show, I was like, I wanted Shannon to the side. Yeah. Like you choose because then I'll eat anything, I'll enjoy anything. I'm sure. Just like you choose because it's just important that everyone's there.
I'll find something on a menu that I'm like, that sounds good. Yeah. Like I can deal with that.
Especially when you're lean, anything like you look at something that's like in an off season, you'd be like, that's vile, but you'd be like, I can't like.
Yeah, chicken royale.
Those 2,000 calorie loaded fries. Yeah,
that'd be so worth it.
Right. So, do you want to get into some questions?
Yeah.
We got a few. Did you get any, mate? I think you said you put up a question box. Do you have the Wi-Fi password? Are you going to be able to load
I don't have the Wi-Fi password.
Do you have any service?
No.
Okay.
It's awful, man.
Yeah. Wi-Fi is BTBXG. If you click on that one, if we can share it, wicked. If not, sorry, bro. You're not getting up your questions.
BTBXG,
yeah. If this clicks up with share, I'll be able to share. Oh, yeah, you got it.
Even mine's not even working.
Yeah. There you go, bro.
Nice one.
Right, cool. So, to be fair, the one question that I got, we've already spoken. No, we got more. We got more than one. One of the.
I know I'm not Insta famous, but
one of the questions we got was about the differences between this prep and last. I know you obviously you've explained it in good detail. If you were to, let's say, specify it as just one thing, like what's the one take home maybe from this prep or
time management of the prep.
Yeah,
and it not being brought forward and then having to dig.
Leaner.
Giving a good timeline, I think, is the main thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is obviously we can spoke about this. Favourite form of cardio during prep. So,
sex drive dies about 6 weeks out, so that's out.
6 weeks for you. Oh god, that's good.
Mine's like 6 months before.
Yeah, and then 6 months after. Yours is still going.
Then I go, prep again now. Yeah. She just looks at me like, what?
I'm prepping again. That's why my sex drive isn't working. Yeah. Secretly, no test. Dick doesn't work.
Secretly, I'm gay.
Yeah. That explains it all.
Comes out now.
Yeah.
Stairmaster.
Yeah. To be fair, for me, like it was.
You didn't do much. You did like 45 minutes of it, and then you just didn't be like, I'm not doing cardio.
Well, yeah, because I was battered. I just looked better for taking it out, and I lost loads of weight for taking it out. I have a recumbent bike at home, so like that's sound, but like obviously what we were saying about getting your heart rate up. So I was using a pre-workout, which I didn't have like pre-shred or anything back then. FinTen. I was using a pre-workout that I'd won at the FitX show.
Okay.
And I had I was in joggers, t-shirt, jumper, hoodie, and then you know that like Eskimo white jacket I've got. And like zipped that up over my mouth, so I was like breathing hot air to my down to my chest.
This sounds like.
And I was like,
this sounds like torture.
And I was still struggling to get my heart rate up. And I was like, I didn't even think Pure Gym's 30 seconds across the road. Let me go and do stairmaster. I was like, just gotta do my recumbent bike.
When you were not that locked in though, you're just like, well, there's no option B.
It's just what you do. Yeah, you just keep doing it.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. Again, it's probably a bit different to you, but especially with enhanced, like let's say preps. It's the thought of like not even doing cardio fasted would freak me out. Like I'd be like, gotta do it fasted. I've got to do it. And obviously, when you are utilising lipolytics, there's a slight bit more benefit. But realistically, there's plenty of times where I got up stupidly early to do my fasted cardio.
Yeah.
And it's like, in reality, I would have been way better just sleeping to my normal time and then doing my cardio in the evening and being like, I've not done my 45 minutes with my clenbuterol and, let's say, injectable L-carnitine in my system. But instead, I've still done it in the evening. It's just about where I've gone for a walk in the
Then you don't get that time in the evening where you like, everything's done and you put your feet up, which is like what you look forward to every day.
Yeah. Well, true. I live 3 hours away from Zach. Okay. So if he said like, right, I'll see you at 11,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I've got to leave where I live at 7.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Is that right? 8.
No, 8, bro. Yeah.
Where do you live?
Mate, you need more food.
Suffolk.
Okay.
Which is like, no one knows.
So you're driving back tonight?
No, I'm staying at my grandparents tonight because they live in Leicester.
Okay, cool.
And then, so it's a 3-hour drive. So if I have to leave at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, I've got to do everything. I've got to check in before, I've got to do my cardio before, I've got to pack the car. So I'm like, right, I can't miss my alarm. Yeah. So I don't sleep all the night before. Because I've got to get up and do my cardio and then do everything. So it's like, if I've just gone, I'll just do my cardio later. Yeah. But in my head, I'm like, well, no, it's called fasted cardio. Yeah. So I do my fasted cardio.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Best / most progressible lower ab exercise. What's your favourite ab exercises? I'm not going to ask you.
Hanging leg raises.
Yeah. What's your most progressible lower ab exercise? That's such a strange question. Like progressible.
This is a good one, to be fair. What's one thing you did earlier in your bodybuilding journeys? So I'm going to guess, like, let's say one thing we did earlier that we probably shouldn't have done.
Cod and broccoli for 8 weeks straight.
Yeah.
You're not Jay Cutler.
I did like a stupid diet. I didn't do that, but I was like eating stupidly low calories for. Do you remember I did that 4-week diet?
Yeah, it was stupid.
It was like a RFL, but before RFL was a thing. It literally was, wasn't it? And like I lost a stupid amount of weight in such a short period, and I looked pretty good. Like I lost loads of fat, and I was like, I'm pretty happy with it, but I was battered. Like my training was shit. I felt horrendous. I was like struggling to stay stood up at work. It was like it was bad.
I think that's like the general public's view of a diet, isn't it? It's like, right, okay, I'm starting a diet, I've got to go all in.
It just means, don't eat.
You're having ketchup. You're like, no, you're not allowed that. No,
I was literally having
it's just salads,
broccoli.
Isn't
it?
I'm trying to think what I did. Like, that was stupid.
Got really, really fat.
What now?
No.
It's an early diet.
Jacked, bro.
Even when you competed.
Yeah, even when I competed, fat.
Forgot to diet. Forgot to diet my back. My
front was like stupidly lean. My shoulders were too lean. They were too pointy.
I forgot
my lower back. Forgot to fucking vasoburn my lower back. Fuck, that was it.
Didn't put your weight, your fat burn belt on.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm trying to think what else there is really. To be fair, that I was like stupid with, or I think like I think a lot of people do it. I used to diet when I was like 15, 16, and like looking back, it was like extreme diet, like Monday to whenever. Like I'd diet for like 2 weeks, and I'd be like, right, refeed, cheat meal, and I'd like get in like 6,000 calories, and then the following day I'd like do my cardio and I feel so good, and I'd be like, this is normal, this is wicked. And like looking back, I'm like, I didn't need to eat like genuinely like 1,200 calories and then do 7,000 calories and just constantly do that.
And but in my head, the same weight.
And like, no, I'd get leaner, but it would just be like I'd be so battered because I do so much. I used to do cardio when I was like 19. The first time I ever got lean, what got me into coaching, because I got asked how I got so lean for a holiday. My cardio was post-workout, and I'd do as much Stairmaster until I went hypo. And that was the protocol. So sometimes it was like an hour, sometimes it was 45 minutes, sometimes it was 5 minutes. And I'd just hop on the stairs after every session and just be like, let's go, let's see how long I can do it. And I just do it until I'm about passing out. And I remember I was with a girl at this one point, and I was dropping her off back at the bus station to go home, and I was like, I've got to do my cardio now. And she was like, just sat there, she was like, how long are you going to be? I was like, I don't know. And I was like, I got in the car and I was like, I need my post-workout meal. And she was like, do you do this every day? I'm like, yep. It was normal at that point.
It's weird, isn't it? You just do like as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Which is what gets you to the point where you actually learn to like.
I think that's where a lot of bodybuilders start, isn't it? Because you learn how hard you can push and how hard you can work. And then when you actually get a sensible protocol, you're like, well, this is easy. Yeah. Well, not easy, but it's like, I've been through worse.
It's like we say when it comes to training, like we've trained like idiots before to the point where like every set's got like 10 forced reps. And we're just like, well, that was normal. So like now we think like...
A set to failure is easy.
Training's easy,
It's
like training hard enough and we're just taking it to failure or one rep forced, like it feels like nothing.
Yeah. You want?
Is it me?
Yeah.
Ideal pre and post workout meal if training in the evenings at 7 p.m. Heavy meals? ? So what would you have as your pre and your post if you're training quite late?
You go.
Anything that digests really well. For me, cream of rice goes down like a dream.
Even in off season?
Yeah.
First?
Obviously, because you can volumise it with lots of water, or you can just add a little bit of kettle water.
Yeah.
So on show day, I don't have it anymore, but if I'd have cream of rice in the morning, I just make it as pasty as possible. Yeah. So just put as little water in until it's edible. Yeah. But probably, I know it's not the greatest nutritional source, but Squares bars, cereals, pretty good post workout. Because you just cereal and isolate, easier. Yeah. And then pre, you could do the same. You could do that, or you could do cream of rice and isolate. Just something that digests well, that know it's not going to sit heavy.
Yeah, I think like it depends really on the phase. Like you could easily do, like for example, coming out of prep with me, I had cream of rice pre and post, but I always found that it sit a little bit heavier with me. So pre, I was like, okay, I don't need that pre. But if you're peak off season, I'd always say just pick the foods that are relatively low volume, digest really well, and like especially when carbohydrates get like really high. If you're having north of 150, 200 grams pre and post, which if you're, let's say, a well-muscled bodybuilder, you've trained for a few years, you probably will get to that point where it might be 200 plus, it might be 250 plus. If you get to that sort of point, like the nutrient value, if you're getting squares bars and cereals, it's not going to be the end of the world, because you'll have other meals and you're eating 1,000 grams of carbs. You're not going to need to worry about your nutrient quality.
The more food you get on, the less important it becomes, like the actual nutrient quality.
But I'd say you want to obviously focus on nutrient quality still. Like I wouldn't want someone to be like, have 5 meals of cereal.
When you're on 200 carbs, you're probably on 200 carbs of high quality food. When you're on 800 carbs, 200 of that might be from poor quality sources. So the percentage looks bigger because you're having like 0 when you're on like a lot less food. But still, like I think especially when it comes to trying to push your food up and up and up, the more poor quality food that you have, it actually makes it more difficult.
Yeah.
I think because if you don't digest it well, it doesn't matter how high carb or high calorie dense it is. If it's not sitting well, it's not sitting well.
Yeah.
But that's where cereal is often very, very good.
Yeah.
Because you can have a big, 150 grams of cereal, and you can nail that fairly easily, like Cocoa Pops, or even something like Cinnamon Crunch.
Yeah.
You have it's not even a big bowl.
Finn loves a bit of Cinnamon Crunch.
Top tier cereal. Yeah. But it's like, you have that and you're almost like hungry afterwards.
Yeah.
So and if you focus on nutrient dense foods throughout the day before that, then realistic, like you said,
the post workout meal is probably the one meal where I'd say like. And
to
be fair, pre-workout
if you're training close, I think if you're training close, like if you've got a short period of time from your pre to your training window, which again when food happens. But if you've got somebody who's like eating when they finish work at 5. They then have to travel back, get changed, go to the gym, and they're not training. It's like you could probably like a relatively like high, let's say high volume meal, and you'd still be you'd be alright. Example, what would be your pre and post in an off season? Like what would you have cereal, square bars, stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely bagels and jam. Okay, so I'll probably have it pre, because I like it. It's probably my favourite carb source.
Yeah,
I love cream of rice. I really, really do. But post, if it's late, I probably would just have cereal, squares bars, maybe bagel and jam, maybe crumpets, something like that. Just something really, really simple.
Yeah.
Because realistically, if you're training at 7, you're probably finishing at 8, half 8, 9. You almost don't want to sit down and make a big meal,
really
because then it's even later, and then you're going to bed and you're not digesting well. And what's the goal here? To eat as much food as you can, not in an off season. You've got a big surplus of food.
If it's that late, you just shake carb powder.
Even like a HPCD, you just do that and then you're done.
Funny, we haven't really mentioned protein at all. The guys listening like, it's just no protein.
Just all carbs.
Just carbs. Yeah, just carbs, bro. No protein pre and post. I actually got a message once being like, do you have any? No, why are you having protein pre-workout if you're talking about low volume? It's like, MPS, bro. MPS, bro. Come on.
I'm a long distance runner. I need my protein. I don't just need carbs.
Yeah, exactly. Right, your one or my one?
Have you got any more?
Yeah, I've got a few more. So I got asked, is it optimal to listen to Once You're In while training at the shed? And I'll give a background to this. The guy who works at the JP shed, or like pretty much, I think he works in the factory. He came up to me, he was like...
Was that who asked the question?
Yeah, he goes, I'm a big fan of the podcast. I listen to it when I'm in the factory all the time. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he was like, yeah, I work in the factory for JP. And I was like, that's cool, mate. I was like, what about... And he said about, I don't get how people listen to it training. Like, he goes, I listen to it all the time. And I was like, hopefully not now. And he was like, yeah, he asked the question. Yeah, and I was like, hopefully not now. And he goes, yeah, I don't get that. Because we've had a few people
listen to it while training.
Listen to... Like, I couldn't imagine listening to a podcast while I'm training. Like, as good as this podcast is, guys, don't listen to this when you're in the gym. Like,
that'd be very distracting.
Yeah,
especially with, like, the comedic content.
Yeah.
Like if you hear a joke and you're like laughing mid squat and you just go and you just topple over.
Yeah, just your spine just snaps it off. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that.
No way. I think I've heard this on the on Fuad's podcast.
Yeah.
I think it was
what's that? Fuad?
Never heard
oh, it was just something.
Sam just got all that out.
Part timer.
But they were saying, I listen to when I'm training. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's nothing but death metal for me.
Is that what it is?
Really?
Yeah.
You don't seem like it. You seem like a more reserved sort of guy.
I get this all the time, yeah. Even when I'm not training, death metal.
What kind of bands?
By Artist Murder, Lorna Shore, Suicide Silence, that sort of stuff.
Fairs, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know any of this. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Your side delts are too big, and we're struggling to get you in the frame.
It's definitely. It's because that's not right.
It's the super draw. It's the super draw. That's what it is.
I wish.
Not running any super draw.
On show day I did.
Really?
The regional, yeah.
Did you notice anything?
No.
I always think super shot takes like a day or two, but then like you can just hold a lot of water from it as well.
Right.
And then like
THT.
Water more so from fullness.
Okay.
Because it's not going to aromatize or anything like that.
No.
But it's something that like it just makes you so fucking full. So if you struggle to fill out, it's like right, take some super draw. But you just get so fucking full. And then if you're mixing that in with like an insulin load as well, it can be a bit.
Red Atlantis for the carb ups.
Okay.
Just 10 a.m. in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's.
I've never done before.
Yeah.
But the recent carb up for the regional, like 1,000 gram of carbs, dropped a kilo and a half.
Yeah.
So obviously fatigue.
Just makes
fatigue
it makes it a bit more stick. It just makes
then,
it stick. That's the way it was. So yeah, right.
We'll keep that in. Sorry guys, the camera cut out, but now
so
you're
okay to admit that you're not a natural athlete.
Oh, was that recording?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sam.
Just joking.
Yeah, just
joking.
Hypothetical. To be fair. Yeah, that's it.
Oh God, drugs. No, I'm not a natural athlete.
Okay, that wasn't one of the questions.
When did you actually switch? Like,
yeah.
2, 3 years ago.
Was it always in, like, I'm definitely gonna?
What year are we in? 2024.
No.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was one of those ones where it's like.
Oh my God, my house fucked.
As much as health is a priority always, we've got to be realistic with bodybuilding. If you want to be where I want to be, it's inevitable. I haven't got the genetics of someone that can do what I want to achieve naturally.
Not many people can, mate.
No.
Not many.
I'm not Cleo Pearson. I'm not, not these guys that you can rock up naturally and just look incredible.
Yeah.
But that being said, I know from a fact of talking to other people, I don't run a lot at all. Which is almost like not confidence booster because I'm like, well, I don't have to use much because whatever you use, right? Yeah. But knowing I'm staying on the safer side of things by using low dosages is always beneficial. Yeah. And Amy's very aware. She's very much like, if you need to push your drugs, you need to push your drugs. Yeah. I'm like, you said
Sounds like a bit of an enabler.
Yeah, she's just like,
I think she's just one of those people where like
she wants to see the best for you, and if that
and she's always done what she needs to do to where she is.
Yeah.
So whatever it takes, it takes what it takes.
OnlyFans. She's always had to do that.
Well, if she brings in the money, she brings in the money.
Yeah. Exactly. Good mindset. Right. Would you recommend posing practice during a long off season? Because I remember you saying to me that your posing was you got told off for your like front pose or whatever, saying you're not showing your lats. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
Saying like, you got told off for your shit posing, but I didn't think your posing was that shit. Do you practice your posing a lot in an off season? Like,
yeah. So I think it's obviously less than one in prep because obviously you don't look as good, so you're not as inclined to pose, and it is almost neglected by most people. Yeah. But it is something that, as your physique develops, your posing will change. Yeah. And even in this,
especially men's physique, I'd say.
Yeah. As this prep has progressed, even from last show to this show, my one hand on hip men's physique pose has got a lot better as my waist has come in. Yeah. In my off season, I'm just like, God, I just like a block. Yeah. Like what? Okay, two hands on hip. Okay, I've got my delts popping, my arms popping. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, side pose, you're like, my waist is wider than the camera lens. This sucks. So I think if you can nail your posing in an off season, you'll then see it progress into the prep, and that's almost more of an encouragement to improve it. Yeah. And I think obviously the better pose you are, the more likely you're going to win is.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Like from a posing fitness perspective as well.
Endurance,
like, you then get to the prep and you're like, oh, it's so hard. Like it's just like more cardio. When if you've been doing it throughout off season, it's like
look at Nick Walker and Haddy, for example, two guys that they could probably pose for 3 days straight and they'd look the same. They don't sweat, they don't breathe. Their waist is tight. It's so regimented. It almost looks easy, so easy. Yeah. Whereas some other guys, round after round after round, they start to fade. And then that loses them the show. Because the judges will run them into the ground if it's that close.
And it's also getting into the poses.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah, side tricep for an open class bodybuilder, impossible.
Oh, yeah.
In off season.
No, I mean getting into the pose when you're on stage. Like.
Oh right.
The amount of times, like.
Yeah,
like it's not even that. It's like they get tired, and then if they're calling out poses, and you're like, let's say they say rear bicep. Everyone's in pose and you're like, right, get me into this. You need to be keeping that kind of, like, especially in bodybuilding, men's physique's a tiny bit different, but then also, when you're fatigued, it's very hard in physique poses to open up fully without tensing too hard. Like, I feel like a lot of times you can hit your front shot, and if you're so like, oh, I'm tired, but I'm going to contract really hard, you narrow yourself off.
Oh yeah.
Bodybuilding,
shoulders come in.
Bodybuilding's very much like, you want to, not narrow yourself off, but you want to flex hard.
Yeah.
Men's physique, it's like, you want to be relaxed and pose and make yourself look wide. You can't do that if you're contracting 100%. Every single muscle as hard as you possibly can. And when you get tired, you think, I'm getting tired, let's pose harder. So you almost think to yourself, really, right, time to own this pose. In reality, make yourself look smaller.
Because some people it works well for, and you'll see some people like side stage, like flexing their chest, and they'll get more of a pump. But men's physique guys, if you haven't got carried that much muscle to fill out, that you're probably just going to go flat if you tense too hard. And the flatter you go, the worse you're going to look, obviously. So it's kind of a case of if you can practice your posing to the point where it does look effortless and it is just a natural movement for you, you're gonna carry that through your prep and then onto the stage, and you're gonna be able to stand out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's having deficits on non-training day during the off-season to allow for bigger surplus on training day. And they just put in the brackets, same rate. So I'm assuming he's meaning like same rate of gain. Would you try and create a big deficit on a rest day so you can eat loads more on a training day?
In terms of your appetite, like if you're really struggling with food, that break from a high intake of food could be beneficial. As long as your rate of gain is the same and you're progressing the same, then fine. Personally, like I said, never really
calorie variance. That's the issue.
I obviously have like less food on a rest day.
Less food on a rest day.
And like even for some clients, it's like 1,000 calories different. Like if they are somebody who trains really hard for quite a long time, but I wouldn't ever really have it as more than that. I wouldn't be trying to be like, I want you losing 2-3 pounds after a rest day so you can go crazy on your training days. Like, if anything, you might be a pound or a half pound down, and then you're up by a pound or a half pound from inflammation and more food on training day. Anyway. That
variance would be hard to monitor. Obviously, if you're training in the right direction, okay, great. But I think almost eating that much on a training day, if it's that much of a gap, it's just going to make you lethargic on a training day. The day when you want to be
feeling good.
Not feeling sluggish. You want to feel like if that difference is kind of lessened, you've got a steadier feeling. Whereas if you're up and down, up and down, up and down, you're just gonna on a training day you've got like, I feel sluggish now. And on a rest day, I feel fine. Why am I training today? It's like you get to training day and you go, I feel sluggish again.
Yeah.
So I'd keep I wouldn't keep too much of a gap between.
Yeah, I think that should be a
difference,
but not
like
couple of hundred.
Yeah, nothing.
If that, maybe.
Clearly, you don't train that hard. Apparently,
men's physique.
Men's physique, bro. You don't train
just
that hard.
Pump.
Just get a pump.
Probably like 75 gram of carb. So not much really.
No, fair enough. Sound right. Last question's about football, mate.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. So Finn, we'll go through it. Matt's not really too much into football. If you could make a perfect footballer, what ability would you take from each player?
Scholes' vision.
Good answer, mate. This guy knows.
We'll let him answer.
Right, yeah. Scholes' vision.
Rooney's dribbling. No, am I wrong?
I'd take more. So I'd be like Rooney's.
Teenage Rooney's dribbling.
I'd say Rooney's like tenacity.
Yeah. Rooney's not a bad shout for like keeping the ball.
I've not watched football in a very long time.
You know Steven Gerrard?
Yeah, Stevie G.
Long shots.
Yeah,
Stevie G. Who else?
Ronaldo.
Yeah, come on, no one's taking Ronaldo and Gerrard long shots. Right, what would yours be, Finn?
Beckham free kicks.
Good shot. What are we classing as ability?
Why don't we do like left foot, right foot, header, pace, like a FIFA card? So pace. Who would you go for?
They don't have left foot, right foot on a FIFA card.
No, but like who would you have as a left foot, right foot? Like
right, pace.
Okay, I'd agree with that. Shooting.
Harry Kane.
Good shout. Passing. Messi.
We're on about current players or any?
Any. Let's go any.
Current players?
Yeah.
Passing?
No, any.
Oh, any.
Shooting,
Scholes.
would you still have Harry Kane?
Yeah.
Okay. Scholes, okay. Dribbling?
Messi.
Van Dijk? Van Dijk. I don't know, Van Dijk. Van Dijk. I was thinking defending.
You're so obsessed
Who's
with
defending.
Who's the best Van Dijk?
Van Dijk. Van Dijk.
Who's the best at Van Dijking?
Van Dijk.
Probably Van Dijk.
You defending?
Defending.
Come on, it's got to be Virgil.
Um,
He's going to say Maldini.
Ashley
acting
Cole.
like he's never.
Ashley Cole's
Yeah,
good.
very good.
That's back in my era as well.
Yeah. Let's say physicality. That's the last one on FIFA. Akinfenwa. Do you know Akinfenwa?
Yeah, that'd be
Big black guy.
Yeah. Careful saying that, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
I got in trouble for saying something like that.
He is big, he's black, he's a guy.
Yeah, it's all correct.
We love black guys.
Physicality. Who's just like really strong? Who's just like a bit of
Yeah,
Rooney? Rooney's a lump.
Yeah,
isn't he?
Rooney be a good shout for physicality. You know, just
He's a lump and he's a big
Yeah.
scouser.
yeah, just barging into people.
Rooney.
Yeah, and then heading. Who would you have heading? CR7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Right, that's that. Questions done. Did you get any questions or not? Did you
Yeah,
get them up?
yeah. I've got
Mate,
a couple, but
you're
we
too
can.
polite. Just go through them. Come on, rattle through them. We'll finish.
Best
off with
gym
your
you've trained at?
Ooh.
I think Ultraflex Derby.
Good.
I trained there literally this week. It was incredible.
What
Class,
did you train
isn't
there?
it? It's good.
Trained back with Zach and Alex.
Back's like
Okay.
the worst thing to do there as well.
Really?
Yeah,
It's really good for legs.
legs is really good. Not that
Yeah.
you know or need
Men's
to know.
physique, what's
Men's
legs?
physique. Yeah, you train legs.
Do you mean cardio, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
cardio.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Stairmaster. That's what
Yeah,
we do
yeah,
for,
yeah.
for
To be
legs.
fair, Ultraflex Derby is very good. The shed is good.
Yeah.
No, I need to go there.
It is
I need to
good.
go.
Yeah.
I'm a massive JP.
Was it
Yeah.
in the UK that you said that? Or was it do with the question, or was it just
Yeah.
in the UK? It was that. So
Yeah.
there's okay, yeah, UK. I'd say Ultraflex Derby for legs. The shed's really good. I'd say Rotherham for pull, and then
Yeah.
or pull and push, and then I'd say B modified's good for pull. I'd say Ultraflex Rotherham is good for both. Other than that, any other gyms that we're forgetting that we've?
I like Shreds and I like Premier Gym Colville.
Really?
Premier Gym's good.
Premier
Yeah.
Gym's really cool, but it's probably because I've trained with like Zach
Yeah.
there, so some of my sessions there are like they're deep in prep.
Yeah.
It's like motivating to train your coach,
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that, rather than the actual kit.
Yeah.
And some of the photos I've taken there are pretty cool. So.
The lighting there,
Yeah,
yeah,
the lighting's
mate,
spot
the
on.
lighting's a joke.
And
like-
Rob, the guy that I think runs it, is Rob Thurston, really,
Yeah.
really cool guy.
He's lovely.
Yeah.
He's sound,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Got what's your favourite carb sauce? 100%
Cream of rice.
Cream of rice, loves cream of
Cinnamon
rice.
cereal from
Yeah.
Complete Strength.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I could eat it every single meal.
Salt and
Nice.
caramel from Conte.
I haven't had that actually.
I need to try that.
It's good, man.
Is it legit?
It is very good.
Because it's 20 quid.
Yeah.
Like, is it that much better than
I
other
tried the
rice?
caramel biscuit and it's got like a cinnamony taste. I don't like the
I
cinnamon.
love cinnamon.
taste. Really?
Yeah, I love cinnamon.
Yeah.
Well, cinnamon cereal, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, I'm. It's okay if you like cinnamon. I said to you, but I'm not a massive fan of that like caramel biscuit, cinnamony
It's,
sort
the
of
salted
taste.
caramel is very
But
good.
the salted caramel way
Yeah.
was like genuinely.
It's just
like,
the same in
amazing.
cream of rice.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's good.
I'm gonna message Pete and say, "Hey Pete, can I please get a salted caramel?" So yeah, favorite carb sauce because you didn't actually answer. What's yours? Rice?
Jasmine rice,
Yeah, I'd say.
Oh, actually, dates.
Yeah, you love
Dates.
dates.
Mate, I
Loves dates.
I'm obsessed with dates.
Really?
So good.
I'd say favourite carb sauce for me, I'd say rice because it's easy. If I go out for a meal, I'll get rice. I'll get
Yeah,
chicken.
I'd say like if
Like-
it was one
Yeah.
sauce jasmine rice that I could have for the rest of my life.
But if
like,
I'm prepping, it's
dates
cream
are-
of rice.
dates are-
I'd agree with you. It's cream of rice and prep. Like that would be the one that I'd go.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you can volumise it more and different flavours and stuff.
What's one, like, if you had to have one meal, just one meal,
We've said this before. You clearly don't listen to as many podcasts as you say so, bro.
Yeah, didn't we say like
Yeah.
jasmine rice, beef mince, and olive oil?
It was actually, I think, in
Yeah.
the one that isn't out yet. I think it was in the last one we did.
Like most of them,
But-
we've got probably about 20 still now.
I think one of them was like, I think that was the most recent one, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking burger.
Oh, really? Would you go, what, like
I
a...
think burger. I love
what,
a burger.
What kind of burger? Like a McDonald's sort of burger? It's easy. Because
Is this one meal for the rest of your life?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Have
I
a
said
burger?
this.
Every
No,
meal.
no, but this is. I heard
Yeah,
this on a
100%.
podcast, and like a McDonald's burger. Imagine you got all your nutrient value. So imagine it was
You've
like
got
all your
protein,
nutrient
fats, and
value.
carbs, surely.
Yeah, and it's so easy to eat. And the guy made a good point, and I was like, you know what? I was
No
like,
chance.
no, it's a McDonald's burger is just easy to eat.
Yeah.
They're very
Not even like,
Well,
not
good
necessarily
burger.
just
I don't like
McDonald's.
Yeah,
But like burger, you've got chicken burger.
yeah.
You've got
No, you can't be
No, you
changing.
can't.
That's cheating. Bro.
okay, even a beef burger, right?
Yeah.
You can. That's got.
But mate, imagine like meal 1 beef burger, meal 2 beef.
It's got to be
burger.
the same beef
Yeah,
burger as
you-
well.
you'd
that You
get,
can't go
like,
to
Well,
Five
what else
Guys.
are you going to choose? What, the same chicken and rice meal?
Yeah, but I feel like it's just plain. It's just like think about it in a prep.
You're not selling it to me. It's just plain.
No, but you're saying this. We'll get you back on when you're fat, and you'll be like, "Yeah, bro, chicken and rice sounds lovely."
I honestly think, yeah, like I wouldn't. I think 5% beef mince,
hmm
jasmine rice,
Yeah.
some nice veg,
Yeah.
olive oil,
That does bang, to be fair.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and that's good when you're not on a lot of food or you're on a
Yeah.
lot of food.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, you make a good point. You do make a good point.
Yeah.
I do love burger.
Yeah, love burger. What's your favourite burger?
There's a place that sounds really this bit. There's a burger van near me that do like a travelling place.
And you follow them around.
I pretty much did it in my short,
they're not
very
really
short.
Near you. You just follow them.
Yeah.
They're 3.5 hours away. It's actually down the road.
They're in Leicester right now. I'm gonna go.
But they're called Wagyu burgers. Not I know Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
They're called Wagyu burgers, and they do like everything you could want in a burger, like the onion rings, the pulled pork, the bacon, the
onion rings in a burger.
Yeah.
God, these are these are extreme
God,
burgers.
Pulled pork's good in a burger.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Minnow and Carter's one of my favourite places to go, and their Minnow and Carter Dirty Burger is fantastic.
Fair
See,
enough.
I've only ever had a burger once at Minnow and Carter, and I thought it was shit.
I've never had a minnow cart.
But I don't think I got the dirty burger. I think I just got like a basic one.
Yeah. I think for burgers you have to get a little bit of pizzazz in there.
Yeah, you have to go all out if you're going to get a good burger.
You want it to be messy.
Yeah.
You want a messy burger.
Don't they do that now? There's a place, Hard Rock Cafe, do the messy one,
Right.
and it's messy.
What?
You know, messy.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like he is the advert for it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So,
I saw it in Dublin. I was looking at. Yeah.
is that your last question? Have you got any more?
I've got more, but they're very. We've covered a lot of them.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was my favourite holiday destination? But I've been on holiday in a long time.
Yeah. When was the last time you would have gone away, excluding competition?
Excluding competitions, I went to Amsterdam actually in December,
Oh, okay.
which was fun.
Yeah.
Amy took me for my birthday.
Yeah.
Spent I think it was like just a weekend there.
Yeah.
It was really, really
Did
nice.
you get everything done in a weekend? So I had a client literally
I've not
go
been
there
to
a few.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, and I said like I quite like to go. I said to Sana I'd like to go, but then I don't smoke or anything like that.
Mm.
I
And
know,
we-
I think that, but then like, that's not why everyone goes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's almost like an assumption. Oh, you're going to Amsterdam. You know, it's like
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I smoked a fair bit of my time. And I do enjoy a good smoke, but because it was with Amy,
yeah.
I didn't want to be stoned the entire time.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, did you go to the museum?" I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
"Deliveroo."
good.
So I kind of wanted to like smoke a bit.
Yeah.
But also actually enjoy Amsterdam for what it is.
Yeah.
So like Christmas markets,
Mm.
the generic couple stuff.
I want to go, but I won't do anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's like
I'd want to go with like the boys again.
Yeah.
Well, not again, but go with the boys
Yeah.
to do that, and then go again with Amy to do what we did, because
Yeah.
I think there's two separate experiences for Amsterdam.
yeah.
And I think, like I said, I wouldn't want to go to the sex museum with the lads,
Yeah.
but also wouldn't want to be just stoned off my head.
You want to go to the sex museum with the lads? That sounds amazing. I'd love to go to the sex museum with the lads.
Just laughing at
Just
pictures
one
of-
lad.
Yeah, just one
Any
lad.
lad.
Yeah.
Off the street, just come
Yeah,
to the sex
just
museum
come,
with
do you want to
me.
come to the sex museum with me? Yeah, that'd be amazing. God,
Not even a friend, just a lad, just a guy on the street.
Yeah.
You doing much? Do you want
Want to go to the sex museum and just look at stuff together?
Yeah, look at some
maybe go
cocks.
into the toilets.
Yeah,
together?
look at some cocks and see what we
to
fancy.
compare just
Yeah.
to see is that like yours or?
You get locked up, and it's like, oh, Amsterdam was awful. So, where would your favourite holiday destination be, mate? You love Morocco, don't you?
You love Morocco.
Yeah.
Morocco was class the first time. The second time, my head was still a mess after prep. So it was good, but not as good.
When you say your head was a mess, what do you mean? Like, you still were just a bit battered?
I was just like stressing out over little things
Food.
and like not really about food, just like about like
Life.
and like you like post show you almost like question things and I wasn't happy with how I dealt with some things and it's like then I'm beating myself up about it, or I was absolutely fine, but like I couldn't relax fully. Whereas the first time before was like incredible, but also I went to the same hotel the second time, so you already know what to expect. So the first time I was like blown away. Second time I was like, it's nice, but I've already been. Egypt was really good.
Yeah.
India, very cool. Growing up, went to India a few times, and that was like really cool.
I'd like to do Japan. Japan would be cool.
Yeah, I've said to
That's
Snow
right.
that'd be quite cool. Yeah, like something like that because it's different.
I think I'm
It's
going to
different.
go next year when he's there.
Yeah.
Maybe this year.
Yeah.
That would
For
be
me,
good.
it'd be Canada, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like Toronto was cool.
New York was good. I went to, because you went to New York recently.
Yeah,
I did New
yeah.
York with my family back in 15.
What do you think?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved
Whereabouts did you stay? Was it like? Did you say?
it. On the streets, not on
Yeah.
the street, but like in the centre of New York.
Oh, sick.
So you walked out of the hotel and it was just like New York hits you.
That's
It
cool.
was
Yeah.
like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Because I'd never been to anywhere apart from like Spain and Italy. The
Yeah, it's
classic
so
middle
intense,
class.
It's a bit like what Vegas was like, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where like you get like we
New
walked on the
York's
strip.
different though because it's massive. It's
Yeah.
so big. Like Vegas was very much like small, condensed,
Just
but like splonked in the middle of nowhere. So it was like nothing. It was desert, and then it was just like bang, Vegas. Where like New York's like you go there and it's like you look up and you can't see any sky because it's just massive buildings.
Billboards,
you look left, there's some guy trying to sell you something. You have a guy trying to give you a mixtape and something. You don't speak to them and you're getting like almost like somewhat harassed. And you're like, Jesus Christ, it's like bright. Like it was like both the places where I did them in like a 4-week period, and I remember being like, fuck America. But now I look back and think it's really cool.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was a cool experience.
The food there's cool. The portions are big.
Of course, it's just burgers, mate.
The sweets,
burgers
like
for
all
breakfast,
sorts.
lunch.
What's the best burger you've ever had?
Other than that,
Wagyu burger.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm on about like American burger. Do you remember?
I think I had like more like barbecue stuff over there because I was like, ribs and stuff.
So we had a few, didn't we? We
Shake
had
Shack
like,
was
Wahlburgers.
Yeah, Wahlburgers was good.
Shake Shack. No, Shake Shack was the one that we were... Oh, Shake Shack was good. What's the other one? In-N-Out.
In-N-Out was awful.
I've had Shake Shack in the UK, but not in the States.
In-N-Out
was shocking. It was like, you know, like a small McDonald's sort of burger.
Oh, yeah.
But like tiny ones. And like, you honestly, like... if you were post-show, like I reckon, like if you'd finished competing and you'd done it, you could have probably had 10,
It
15.
was very
I've
disappointing.
got a ridiculous appetite.
You would literally be able to sink like 10 burgers, and you'd probably still go. That was
tiny.
I think this week Amy has taken me to pizza place, a burger place, fish and chips. She literally eats it in the car on the way home, and I'm just like, yeah, perfect. I genuinely, I said to her, how many chicken nuggets do you think you could eat in one go? She was like, well, I've just bought 20, I haven't finished it, so probably 15.
Yeah.
And I was like, I reckon I could eat 60 chicken nuggets, at least.
I think you could do more.
I think you could do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you
100?
could do like 100.
Yeah.
I think you'd struggle pushing 100, but I reckon you could.
It depends on where you're at.
I've got a ridiculous appetite.
Yeah.
But I can put away food.
Let's do it now.
Let's do it right now.
Zach,
hey mate,
probably pull carbs down tomorrow.
I've been peer pressured. Yeah. The boys were saying I was a bit flat.
Yeah. Just got a pump, and then I'm going to have chicken nuggets.
All good. Right.
I look great tomorrow.
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Mate, fantastic. We need to get you on in your off season.
Yes.
It'd be good.
And we'll do the chicken nugget challenge.
When I'm a fat pro.
Yeah, when you're a fat pro, we'll get you in and we'll just have 100 chicken nuggets waiting in a tower here. And we'll say, right, through the next 2 hours, you've got to get through all of these.
Oh, easy.
Thank you for coming on, mate.
Thank you for having me.
We've mentioned a few times, like, haven't we? We've said, like, oh, we should get you on. And then originally we were like, we'll get you on when you pro card. But it aligned well. You said you were in the area. And obviously we spoke about you a few weeks back. So we were like, right, we'll get you on. So I appreciate you coming, mate.
No, thanks for having me.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been great. And I genuinely do listen to the podcast. So, like, it's a bit surreal. I know that sounds really cringy, but it's genuinely quite surreal. But once you're in, you're in.
Yeah. Cool.
Like, genuinely has kept me entertained on my steps, my cardio. Like, just sometimes, you know, people chatting. It's good to just zone out to and listen to.
Yeah, I remember you
long
said,
journeys up to Zach. And
you said you listened to the one me and Sinai did with Finn. Obviously, with Finn, you were invited. You listened to that with your girlfriend, and it like helped her.
Yeah. She kind of understood, like, the mindset of bodybuilding and like, okay, so it's not just you that like because she's horses. That's her background. Yeah. So she doesn't always get like where I was coming from initially. Now she's at a show. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna win. She's like, no, he's not. He's Dale's shit. Yeah. She's got a fantastic eye for it now. She gets it. Yeah. Bodybuilding completely. Whereas trying to bring her into the world was helpful with you guys doing that podcast and her being like, oh, so what you're doing is normal. Yeah. Okay, cool. You're not just.
I've had people say that about the video me and Shannon did. It's like post-show we did a video with Sam filming, we were just chatting, and like I've had a few clients like that was really helpful. Because like I've had to struggle like with my relationships, so it's good to see that like it's normal.
Yeah, it turns out it's normal to hate your girlfriend on prep.
Yeah.
I'm not quite as bad. I think you just went through a stage where you just didn't talk to Shannon at all.
Yeah,
I'm not that bad.
I'm not as bad as you.
I didn't realise that I wasn't not talking. It wasn't like if she was talking to me, I was like, fuck off.
You were like, can you miss something?
Deliberately ignored. It was just that I was like that battered that like I wouldn't be like, how was your day? You know what I mean? Like you just forget to
you wouldn't initiate a conversation.
Yeah, because you just like trashed.
I've had times when like I'll be at social situations or like I'll see someone I know, I'm like, just don't
I can't be asked.
Just don't talk to me. Yeah. Like I'll be like, right. Yeah. It's like they get it.
I think that gets worse.
In bodybuilding, I think a lot of people get that. Like at shows last year, a lot of people would just look at me like, and I'd be like, like, thank you, I don't want to talk.
It's almost like in the gym, if you see someone like you see every day and they're on prep or you're on prep and you sort of like you're going towards them and they take their headphone out, you know you can approach. If they give you a nod, you're like, cool.
It's just a nod.
Carry on. Yeah.
And then you usually get the same people that don't get it, and they go, "How's prep going, bro?"
And you're like,
every day. I
80.
spoke to you yesterday.
I literally said, I spoke to you yesterday. Yep, sound is good, mate. Cheers. Can I train?
when's the show?
Yeah.
Just shut up.
You do know you asked me that again yesterday.
Yeah.
It's not changed.
Yeah, they haven't moved it.
Or you've got me 1 week out and Stephen Physique saying, "Oh, strip off middle of the gym." That's literally what he did to me a week out on my first ever show. He was like, "How's your condition? Strip off." Middle of the gym, just gone through posing, trained for 2 hours. I want to get in. I want to get out.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
No.
And I just said to him, I said this on the podcast before, I was like, "Oh, I'm alright, mate." And he was like, "Oh, well, if you're not in shape yet, it's not till next week, so you've got plenty of time." Cheers, Stephen. Never been in shape for a show. Cheers.
Yeah.
So literally, I was
Even
just
with Joe got him to his best he's ever been.
Yeah.
But he could be a lot better.
Yeah. That's what we're ending the podcast on.
Yeah.
Stephen,
You could be better.
could be better, bro. You could be better.
We have faith, but just get to work.
Just keep at it.
just keep at it, buddy. Oh, that's an awful ending, but a good ending. Right, hopefully everyone's enjoyed. Matt, thanks for coming on.
No.
That's that. What we'll do, please, guys, we'll have Matt's Instagram. Don't tag just me and Finn. We say this at every single one, and people still do. They'll be like, "Listen to the podcast, no tag to you."
Yeah.
So give
I
Matt
feel
a
like
tag.
people are tagging the guests.
Yeah, but when we started, they never tagged them, and you just see like a random person there. They'd be like,
Also,
"Tag him." Yeah.
numbers,
So tag Matt.
Numbers are flying.
Numbers are flying. We are gaining at a rapid rate. Matt, how many followers you got?
Like 3,000.
No,
It's
this ain't gonna do as
pathetic.
much,
No,
yeah.
sorry,
That'll
boys.
bump us up a bit.
Yeah.
Follow me. I am also a coach. So if you're looking to get coached, get lean, get shredded, get big, anything, hit me up.
Well, apparently, but you're
I'd
saying
also-
this, but literally a moment ago you said your girlfriend has a better eye for bodybuilding. So,
Yeah?
so you're...
She's not a coach though.
Oh, okay.
She replies to check-ins. I just get the clients in. And
the Matt Jansen
She does
protocol.
all the work. Yeah.
The Matt Jansen protocol.
Fucking
Right, that's that. So, yeah, well, again, thank you for coming. That's that. Perfect timing. Cool. Sound?
Perfect.
Wicked.